Hello everyone and welcome in Let's Connect with Prerna. Today I'm going live with the principal of Seth Anandram Jaipuria School, Lucknow, and I'm inviting Poonam ma'am to join in our session. Hello everyone and welcome in Let's Connect with Prerna. I am going live with, ma'am, hi ma'am, there was some technical glitch.
There is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, hello, welcome everyone once again, and I'm going live with Miss Poonam, and she's principal of Seth Anandram Jaipuria School, Lucknow. So, ma'am, my first question is that, what you have to say for students who are passing class 12th?
Yeah, so I think these are very, what should I say, the one of a kind situation where children have sort of not appeared for the exam and the results are still awaited. So
Right.
everything is quite uncertain. But I think this brings home the point that, students who just wait for the end of the year, just before the exams to study and to prepare, and then they anticipate that of course, there are students who work round the year, who are very sincere.
Yeah.
And I think probably now they realize that had they been, because now the criteria stipulated by CBSE, and I'm sure something similar must be there for ICSE as well,
True.
that they're going to take into account the last 3 years' performance based on a certain percentage.
Yeah.
And it's important. And I think what I would like to tell the children is, don't study for the sake of exams. I think in the future, the whole system will undergo a change. We're not going to be exam assessment oriented kind of a future. I don't think we can look at that in the future. So the assessments will become more holistic. They will take into account many more things rather than just the performance on the paper and pen test kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So I think the very fact that children want to learn for the sake of learning, for the joy it brings them, and for the knowledge enhancement that happens, that should be the driving force rather than a year-end exam or the marks they're going to get. So I think the present class 12th at least, and the present 10th, 11th, these classes need to become more sincere and sort of be more regular, be more responsible in the class, turn in their assignments and do everything that, they should be doing.
Yeah. Ma'am, how do you see in the light of pandemic and also once it's over, the future of fresh pass outs?
The future of, sorry?
The future of fresh pass outs.
So as I said, it's still uncertain, with the talks of a third wave and all of that. You really don't know. So I think it should be like once bitten, twice shy. So the children need to, sort of plan more seriously now. They should be clear in their heads as to what they want to do after class 12. I'm sure universities and colleges will now be formulating a different criteria for taking in students, So although there was this component of board exam results, I'm very sure that, for instance, interviews will play a huge part, like they do in your, your civil services or any other, even in your Ivy League colleges, if you're going overseas, your portfolio, personal portfolio, all that you have been doing as a student, apart from studies, apart from academics, all that will come in very, very handy. So children need to document, first of all, be very serious about, the overall involvement in not just studies and, just mugging up, but making use of all the opportunities a school provides them. And even if a school doesn't provide them, then the whole world is theirs. You go, you can do so many courses online, short courses. There are a lot of free courses. I think this is the stage where children should be literally grabbing every opportunity they get. And in that way, they will be securing their own future.
True.
So in my school, you will not believe, we have children of class 11th who are already doing fantastic internships. I mean, normally you have interns at graduate level.
That's very nice. I mean, so because, I think very rightly said, ma'am, that this is the time where, other than, as you said that today challenging times, but it's very important to do something constructive and, find time for yourself and start doing something which is actually a value addition.
Absolutely. Very rightly said. Yeah.
Right. Ma'am, please elaborate the parameter one should, take in account as an input factor to decide about the future career options.
I think the most important factor is your interest, your personal interest, because if something excites you and something makes you happy and you are sure, that this is what I want to do day in and day out for the rest of my life, then
Right.
as they say that if you love what you're doing, then you don't work a single day in your life. I think this is one of the prime deciding factors.
True.
And children should not get completely swayed by parental pressure or what their friends are doing, or by the money factor that this job is a high
Bilkul.
paying job, so I want to go for it. No, that should not be the criteria. If you love what you're doing and you make every attempt to excel in it, I believe money will eventually come. So that should be the last thing in your mind when you
Right.
decide about career options and what you want to do.
Right.
And I think another thing is, if you're unsure, if you have two, three different, your mind is going in two, three different directions, and you would be equally sort of comfortable in any of those, then the best thing would be to get in touch with people in the field, people who are already in that domain.
Right.
Talk to them, interact with them. I think what children don't do nowadays is they don't talk, they don't observe, that curiosity is not there. If somebody is a fashion designer and you're interested in you want to get into NIFT or something, go ahead, talk to that person, find
Right.
out whether it's all rosy as it seems. It might not
Bilkul.
be. So what are the pitfalls, what are the advantages, what is it that you will find good in that industry? Like, a lot of kids get enamored with the hospitality industry, but then there's a lot
True.
of what should I say, grassroots kind of level work which they will need to
Bilkul.
do, start from
Bilkul.
scratch. You have to get into housekeeping and stuff also. So
Right.
let's not look at it with rose tinted eyes. Be very, very thorough about what is required, and I'm sure
Right.
if that preparation is thorough, then your path ahead becomes easier, because you're very clear, this is my road to get into that career. And then there's so many good career counselors. I think if there is
Right.
a level of confusion, then it's best to get yourself assessed, your own skills and your competencies, and see which career are you most suited to. So that will also give a certain sort of, what should I say, a guideline to the child to decide.
Right. Right. I think, ma'am, what you have said is very, very important because, somewhere or the other, student are in pressure because maybe parents are asking them to do something, or maybe somebody else has done and doing wonders. So, they think that, okay, is it for us or not? So, yes, getting an idea about what you want to do, talking to people who are already from that field so that you actually get the true side of, the actual side, as we say.
Yeah, Prerna, that's why in our school we make it a point to expose children right from the earliest classes. We bring in a lot of people from outside. It could be young students, it could be young professionals, it could be parents from different professions. We bring them on board and make children interact with them. They can ask them. So you're getting a first-hand
Right.
information about what that job entails, and what you never know which child then gets inspired by what. So it's important
True.
that real life connect is very necessary.
True. Ma'am, do you think that the quality of education would suffer due to, wholesale promotion?
I didn't get you. What do you mean by wholesale promotion?
Now, when I say this, see, there are two types of students, as we all know. One who is, studying the entire year to get good grades. And the one, that, okay, now exams are coming in March, they start studying from, say, January. Now, because keeping pandemic in mind, it's the second year where, they haven't written
Yeah.
the exam, or maybe just their practicals or some, assignments or something because of, and then the final, result is being evaluated for them. So keeping them in mind, do you think that will it affect their psyche in the sense that, okay, we are not preparing, or maybe students who are preparing and then
See, so I'll tell
they've
you
been
the
promoted?
reaction of I'll tell you the reaction of the students when they came to know that the exams are being cancelled. So the ones who'd been working through the year, who'd
Yes.
really been working hard, they were shattered. They were very, very disappointed because they were striving for that 95, 96, 97, 98%.
True.
So they were really put off. The ones who had not been studying, not been regular, they were elated. For them it was like a, So it just shows the mindset of kids. I think as educators, we need to influence that mindset and make them understand, you're not doing it for an exam. We are all, I think in India, we are very exam oriented. Anything that you do in school, 9th, 10th, 11th, especially, and that's why I'm very against coaching, because at the end of the day, in 11th and 12th, I mean, kids drop out of school, they join coaching. I mean, there are parents who want to put children in coaching from class 6 onwards, 7 onwards. For heaven's sake, school is a time of social interaction. It's a time where you learn skills. It's a time where you even develop emotional skills, how to deal with victory and failure. It's not all about academics. I mean, I don't know now, but a lot of the news that we've read in the newspapers, the cream, those who get into IITs, these children, they have it all. They've got the most sought after college, and yet they take that unfortunate step. Why? I think somewhere down the line, when we get into this coaching trap, we miss out on that exposure and the interaction. I think this is one of the things our children are really missing in the online mode, particularly this age group of 11, 12. They know it's the last years, their last 2 years before they step out of school. These are memories we hold for a lifetime.
True.
So we should not deprive, even parents need to understand that you cannot deprive children of those vital years. There is much more to gain than that coaching. And if you're hell-bent on coaching, my advice is drop a year after your 12th. Focus, do your coaching wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And then get into wherever you want to go. I think it's that 1 year will not take away anything from your life. But those 2 years which you deprive the child of in school, that will make really adversely impact.
Ma'am, if I talk about online classroom programs, so my question to you is that how are you? I mean, when I'm saying you is like I'm referring to Seth Anandram Jaipuria School. How are you preparing teachers? Like, is there a special technique being taught to them, or maybe because I mean how are actually you encouraging the teachers to face the challenges?
So Prerna, I
taking
think if I may say, at our school, it's been a very seamless and smooth transition from the physical to the online. And I'll just give you a little history. Our school began in 2016. And from 2017, we were very clear in our heads that technology was the way forward, integration of technology. And we started bringing our teachers on board. We started bringing our kids on board. We started enrolling kids in events at the national and international level. And, so when this pandemic happened and the lockdown happened, it took us just 1 week. 1 week to switch from the physical school to the online school. And that 1 week of training we did, it's not that it stopped there, but that was the preliminary training we did with the teachers. And, we sort of, you won't believe one teacher doing a demo class and the rest of the teachers observing and giving their inputs to improve how they could improve their methodology. And it worked so well. And then I'm very lucky to have a very strong IT team, my IT head. So as a principal, I think I couldn't have been happier, because the kind of peer learning and the kind of peer training that has happened in this past year, of course, so there's a lot of in-house training that happens. We do have outsourced training. We've had a lot of it. So it's workshops, webinars, training programs, but the in-house training, I think, has made all the difference. So a lot of online tools, and I'll give you just one example. I think the new year the new session has begun. So we were in the process of hiring new staff. And you will be surprised. Teachers from the best of schools, from outside Lucknow, from within Lucknow and from outside Lucknow. When they came in and we interviewed them, and I asked them, what online tools have you used in the past year? They said Zoom and Microsoft Teams and Google Meet. I said, please, those are platforms. They're not online tools. So teachers don't know They've not
True
heard
that.
of
I
the
mean, this is
and
so
I think
true.
we are using no less than 20, 25. So this year I told my IT team, I said, now we must go ahead with 2, 3 more new tools. They said, ma'am, we've got
Wow.
20 more ready. That was the
Wow.
response of my teachers. So it's
Yeah.
not teachers now, it's the students have become teachers, and the way they
Right.
have adopted techniques and ways
Yeah.
of learning, because these are very interactive tools. You can assess the child on the go. You can immediately know in every class how many children have understood, how many haven't. So it's been a phenomenal year. I forget
Right.
about all the downside of the pandemic. I think in the education fraternity, this has been a blessing in disguise. There's so much learning that has happened, and there's been so much
Right.
growth that has happened.
Right. Ma'am, what qualitative changes online education has brought, like if we talk about students and, school like yours, I mean, you've been talking about technology, and I think that students or maybe, whosoever is watching us right now must be aware about, like, the new hub of technology is being introduced in Seth Anandram Jaipuria School, and how teachers have also, I mean, they have also learned these new techniques of how to take online classrooms.
So Prerna, we are the only Microsoft Showcase school in the city of Lucknow.
Wow.
We've been with Microsoft for 4 years, but we've been the Showcase school for 3 years. We are an Adobe certified school. We've
Wow.
recently become a Wakelet school, and we are
Okay.
now on board with the global schools program. So these are all
Okay.
international kind of collaborative learning that is happening. Teachers, we're also working on a British Council project, collaboration between students of our school and those of children of other schools in India and overseas. So there's the quality. If you talk, I think
Yeah.
it's gone several notches higher in this past year. And I'm more than delighted, not just with the teachers, but I think the students are shaping up so well. We've had so many children who are now creating their own videos, their vlogs.
Wow.
They're doing crazy things. I mean, we can't imagine. They're into machine
Right.
learning, and we've introduced coding from a very young age. So yeah,
Wow.
class, even grade 1, 2, 3. And then because of the numerous tools that have been introduced, they are experimenting with those as well. So the children are one step ahead of us. You just give them one hint and then they take off. So it's amazing.
Ma'am, what are your views on new education policy?
So very progressive in many ways, but I think ultimately everybody's been saying this, and I will repeat it too. It's easier said than done, simply because people are, they will praise it and they will say, yes, it's very good, but when you have to, start doing it, then
Yeah.
that reluctance is there. Because when you
Right.
say that you don't have any clear bifurcation between streams at class 11, for I'm just giving you
True.
one example,
Mm-hmm.
and still we go ahead, we bifurcate the children, because not having streams and allowing children to choose as per their uh, uh, interest will
Yeah.
entail more expense for the school. So if you have a math science student wanting to opt for history, for instance,
Right.
alongside, so
Right.
it's a great combination. Or a PCM wanting to do geography, so great. In principle, it's excellent, and that's the way it should be. But do
Yeah.
the schools have the resources, both infrastructural, because you'll need rooms also, and then your human resource, your teachers, and then you have to set a limit. Like, I mean, if you have 30 PCM students and two of them opt for history as a combination, where are you
Yeah.
going to fit that into your timetable?
Right.
And that will increase the teachers' number of periods or whatever. So that the technicalities and working around those, it's not as simple. Yeah.
Right. Ma'am, before I conclude our conversation, what is your message to teachers across? I mean, not only teachers of Seth Anandram Jaipuria, but
I just think that teachers, first of all, I always say this to my teachers, and I will say it again. Those of us who come with the baggage of, or with the pride of saying that I have 20 years, 25, 30 years of experience, I say throw it out the window, because that is not going to help you in any way. I
yeah.
honestly believe it. I'm not saying it because I've seen, in fact, my younger lot, the new teachers, the young, fresh
Yeah.
blood who ready to explore, ready to experiment, ready to learn. So the key quality that I would look for in teachers is to be a learner. मुझे technology नहीं आती है, नहीं आती भैया सीखो, you know, that kind of a thing. Do whatever you don't know. True. The more you learn, you join your, as I said, courses are now available for everyone. So if you're driven by the desire to learn, you yourself will look for resources. And then look at your own graph. I always say this again to my teachers, you know, it's not that you are training only students. You have to first train you have to be a 21st century teacher to make 21st century students. You can't think you can do it and aap dharre par ho, purane dharre par. It's not possible. So equip yourself, you know, get out of that comfort zone, start thinking more creatively, you know, even the children, when you're training them, don't follow the traditional pattern. You know, challenge their thinking, develop in them these higher order thinking skills, teach them to think and analyze critically. It's very important. Very important.
Right. पूनम मैम, आपका मैसेज सारे बच्चों के लिए जो अभी देख रहे हैं उनके लिए, और बाद में जब ये मेरा और आपका ये वीडियो देखेंगे?
बच्चों के लिए same thing goes for kids. I think kids today are extremely talented. I just feel that, you know, kids today, unfortunately, if they do not get the right kind of education, I mean, you may be in the best of schools, but at the end of the day, if the school is not a thinking school, if the school is not a progressive school, if the school just says yes to things but they don't do it, you know, and they don't expose children, they don't focus on it. Today is the time of personalized learning. Right. So you have to identify every child's interest, talent. Even if you have to do small group interaction with children, you have to go. Today, education is not up. You know, पहले teachers आते थे कि teaching is a good option for a job. जाओ 2 बजे खाली हो गए and then you're free. I think teachers today are working more than you know, the corporate people. Actually, more. Teachers have, especially since the past year, they've been putting in phenomenal number of hours in their own personal development, training, and preparing all those resources which they will have to use on the online mode. And we need to remember that you have 8 to 10 other eyes in the home that are focusing on the screen along with the child. So they are being evaluated so critically, the teachers. Yeah. You know, so we have to up the game. And even NEP says, I don't know, they are saying it by 2022, there will be this teacher evaluation process like you have in the US. So the teacher will have to go through that evaluation process to be to have a continuation of her education degree. I think that's a wonderful step. You know, to get teachers who are stagnant and who don't want to grow, for them, it's a jolt. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Poonam ma'am. I am very sure that, you know, who are watching us right now and later जब ये video देखेंगे, there are too many things जो लोगों को पता ही नहीं होंगी about what is happening, you know, obviously students of State Anandram Jaipuria उन्हें तो पता ही होगा, but I'm sure जो सब हमें देख रहे हैं now they'll be knowing about the new technologies and जो आपने एक insight, एक जो discussion करा about new education policy. Thank you, Poonam ma'am.
And Prerna, one last thing. I think children should, in fact, schools, teachers, everybody should be very aware of the kind of jobs, the job shifts that will happen in the future. You know, so forget about engineering and medical. We are still so hung up on that. There's so many options. Today, you're going to be your own job creator. Most of our children are going to be that.
Definitely, ma'am.
So we have to give that platform to them in the school.
Definitely. I think that's so true. That's so true. And very important, जो आपने बात बोली कि मैम इस time को भी ना हमें positive देखते हुए, we should learn new things. We should learn things which we don't know. I mean, right. So thank you, Poonam ma'am, for being a part of this initiative. And
thank
I
you,
really look
for
forward
giving this opportunity. I don't know. I mean, I've never heard of your group before, but I'm sure I just was checking today and I found that one of my students, if I can put it that way, is also a principal now in Army Public School, Prerna. She's also your namesake. So I was watching her video as well. Yeah, great.
Thank you, Poonam ma'am, for being a part.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.